Hi, Joseph. Thanks for joining my podcast today.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
So, this is Joseph Parauda. He is the author of the memoir After the Fall, An Addict's Painful and Joyful Road to Recovery. So, I first met him in the gym, and one thing that really surprised me was his fitness level, especially being a nurse. Like, I'm so used to seeing patients around his age not being able to function or take care of themselves. And I he was in my Pilates class. So if you ever take a mat Pilates class, you know how difficult that class is. What were your thoughts on that class?
That was a difficult class.
Yeah.
It really was, but it was very enjoyable,
hmm
and I really got a lot out of it. So I was appreciative of that.
Yeah, you were one of the few men in the class. So I know that it's very difficult because we do a lot of core strength and functional mobility. And after I was talking to him, I learned that he experienced a very life-changing event. So, can you tell me more about what led you to create your memoir?
In July 15th, 2022,
hmm
I suffered a fall in my home.
Yeah.
Um, I At that point I drank over a quart of scotch. Uh, I was extremely drunk. I was very intoxicated. I lost my balance. I fell, and from my kitchen to my family room, there are two steps.
hmm
And I fell, and all my weight came down on my left femur, the thigh bone,
Yeah.
and I fractured it. Uh, I tried to get up immediately. I knew I would not be standing that day.
hmm
It wasn't going to happen. My telephone was way on the other side of the
Oh
room,
my gosh.
20 feet.
Yeah.
That 20 feet took me about an hour and a half to get to.
hmm
Because I couldn't put weight on
What
the
was
front.
your fitness level like then?
At that point, I weighed about 340 pounds.
hmm
I hadn't been to a gym in, I would say, easily 35 years. Um, Not only I couldn't even do a push-up at that point in my life.
hmm
Not only could I not do a push-up, I couldn't tie my own shoes.
Oh my. I mean, looking at you now, I couldn't even tell that was you a few years ago.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, but that was that day I like to refer to as my renaissance, my rebirth.
hmm
That's when I decided to, when I got to the hospital, actually, as, as you know, it, a fractured femur requires surgery because
Yeah.
they have to put a rod through
Yeah.
the femur. They were not able to do the surgery for about 4 days, 3 or 4 days, because my vitals were so unstable.
hmm
My oxygen level was low. I was just all over the place. At
Were you
that point,
also withdrawing from the alcohol?
withdrawing from the alcohol, cigarettes,
Yeah.
and eventually, I think the next day or maybe 2 days later, a doctor came to me and he goes, you have stage 1 cirrhosis, you have COPD, you have AFib. You're 340 pounds.
hmm
Um, you consume a quart of alcohol a day. You're smoking 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day. If you don't change your life, you're not going to see 60.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was about 3 months away from my 60th birthday.
Wow.
So I kind of like, maybe now's a good time to turn
Yeah.
things around.
I see. That's really inspiring.
But thank you.
So, from a health standpoint, alcohol can put you at risk for arrhythmias like AFib. And when you combine that with other comorbidities, it makes it difficult to have a functional, fulfilling life where your quality of life matters. Like here you are at just before 60, not being able to walk or even reach a phone. As you said, it took an hour to get there, but it just seeing how you turn your life around is very commendable. And I wanted to learn more about your process in recovery and how what lessons that we can all learn from this.
One of the things that I was obviously an addict, and I took the steps to change all that. But initially, when I was in the hospital, I was actually staying at JFK. The hospital, at the time, every year they do a fundraiser.
Yeah.
It's called Miles for Minds.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They were doing that race
Mhm.
in July when I was going through physical therapy.
Yeah.
And my physical therapist rather, participated in it. And one moment we had a free moment and we were talking about it. This was when, again, I'm I'm around 340 pounds. I can't take more than 10 steps.
Yeah.
For some reason, I said, wow, I would like to do that next year. Like,
I love that. You basically set a goal for yourself
that was
and
the
rose
goal
to
I
the
set.
challenge.
And what was good about it was, in order to get there, you can't just say, oh, okay, I'll show up and I'll walk. I knew, all right, in order for this to happen, I'm gonna have to lose weight.
Mhm.
I was gonna have to join the gym and start exercising. I was gonna eat healthy, stop drinking, stop smoking, everything. And just being focused up here and having to set all those goals.
So that was the finish line for you.
That was the finish line.
Yeah.
So it was very, very life changing.
Mhm.
Really was.
So you were telling me that throughout your path to recovery, you had experiences with mental health treatment. And as an older gentleman, I often don't see men in those spaces, or I'm learning more that it's very beneficial for your quality of life in order to be able to talk about your problems with a medical professional and also show that it's okay to seek help. A
Yes.
lot of people, they tend not to seek help either out of fear or stigma or just the culture of it's not manly to shed tears.
Absolutely.
It's not manly to show emotions. And being your age, like you are setting an example for the younger generation. So what would you tell young men now?
I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for working with professionals, I would still be an addict. Even if I wasn't drinking, or even if I wasn't smoking, if I wasn't eating compulsively, I would still be an addict. Okay, and I gave you this example, and I facilitate meetings. I make sure I say this at least once a time, or once every meeting. If a flower doesn't bloom, you don't treat the flower. You make sure the roots are stable. You make sure it's getting enough nutrition. Is it getting enough sun? Is it getting enough water? And I think that's also true with addiction. Things like compulsive eating, drinking, gambling, be it chemical or otherwise, that's a symptom. That's not the cause.
Right.
And if you're serious about getting rid of addiction,
you get to the root cause of things.
You have to get to the root.
Yeah.
And even initially, when I went to IOP, I started with a physical therapist. But until I met with someone who really changed my life more than anyone else, she was pretty much a repression coach. And we worked with all the repression that I've dealt with for 60 odd years of my life, and dealing with that and letting those emotions surface. And that is when once I started dealing with that, that's when I feel I became addiction free. I wasn't white knuckling it like, oh, can I make it through the day without having a drink or a cigarette or eating compulsively? That's when things started to change.
How did you change your lifestyle when a lot of socializing nowadays tends to involve going out to bars or having alcoholic drinks at celebrations? What are some things that you did to modify that but still be able to enjoy those moments?
I think initially I probably avoided those, but eventually as I started probing into myself, I got to the point where I was like, all the pain and suffering that alcohol or my other compulsions have caused me, I almost got to the point where it was like disgusting to look
Yeah.
at it. And I think like the first event I went to a Rutgers football game.
Uh-huh.
My brother got tickets because I'm actually a Penn State fan.
Okay.
And Penn State was playing Rutgers. He got tickets for all my
Yeah.
brothers.
I'm actually a Rutgers alum, so I know how those events go. It's a lot of fun, the tailgating and
It is.
the pre and post events.
And my brothers came, our family are not big drinkers with the
Yeah.
exception of me, but they had beers and whatnot, and I had no problem with it. I was perfectly happy with my Mountain Valley water,
Yeah.
and I felt great. And even as recent as a couple months ago, my sister-in-law turned 60, and they had a party for her at an open bar.
Yeah.
And I had no problems there. Because I've dealt with the root. Okay, so symptoms are irrelevant. I didn't white knuckle it at all. I didn't even think about having a drink.
Yeah. I like the culture of mocktails that has been more prevalent.
Yes.
So it's like you see more and more post-COVID where restaurants would incorporate like non-alcoholic drinks or even cafes into their menu in bars. But I'd like to see more of sober events in the future. I know recently there's been an advent of day clubs where they would have DJs take over cafes during the daytime. So like it would be a coffee and a rave, or like run clubs where you'd have a have a 5K or something, and then the energy of that event would be solely off those natural endorphins that are released after a run.
Yes. And I can tell you, because one of the things I've done since my rebirth is work out at a gym, and now I have that rush of endorphins, and it's a beautiful, it's much nicer than alcohol, by the way. It's better for your body too.
Yeah.
So that's been a joy, and now it's like I look back and even if I could have one drink and stop and not worry about it, I don't want that one drink. I like having a clear mind. I like being able to speak to a person in an intelligent manner. I don't want to slur my words anymore. I don't want to sound like a fool.
Without the filter, basically.
Right. And when I drank, and I still hear stories, oh, you called me one night and and I'm like, ugh. And if I remembered it, I don't want to remember it. So, and just having that feeling of sobriety, and just any situation you walk into, you can handle it.
What would you say is the hardest part of maintaining your current lifestyle?
I think because one of the things that I talked about my rebirth, but when you're born, your thinking is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And for me, that can be one of the most challenging things, because I'm becoming aware of emotions that I've never dealt with previously. And now I'm learning how to deal with it.
And I think that's so beautiful, learning about the pause for the extra sound. I think that's really beautiful, learning about yourself, your relationship to yourself, your own emotions, being in tune with your mental and physical state.
Yes.
That just helps you feel more alive and more fresh.
Absolutely.
And from previous conversation with you, you had mentioned how your self-concept or your identity from before falling and after falling has definitely grown and changed over the years.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to learn more about that.
Even as I mentioned, I would say even after going 1 year without eating compulsively, without drinking, without smoking, I'm still an addict.
Yeah.
Okay, I still had the mindset of an addict. I still used. I had a low opinion of myself. Okay, I pretty much walked in my whole life thinking I was fat, stupid, and ugly. And through the work I did with a repression coach, I realized that no,
Yeah, it's like the outside doesn't match the inside.
exactly. And uh, overcoming that and seeing myself in a different light was just revolutionary. And then I started liking myself. In the past, I used a lot of self-deprecating humor.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't use that anymore. I even it was very hard for me to take a compliment. If someone said something nice about me, I would usually retort with a derogatory thing about myself.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't used to ambulances.
Yeah. There's a lot of activity going on right now. It is 100 degrees. Me and Joseph are sitting out in the shade. And, you know, in this kind of weather, it's so important to stay hydrated, stay cool, and maybe stay indoors. But hopefully those people are okay.
Yes, absolutely. So I just think like that, the way I changed my attitude about myself.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I say now is, don't expect anyone to love you if you can't love yourself.
Exactly. That's so important.
That was a game changer for me. So it's like now I'm 62 years old, and for the first time in my life, I'm alive.
Yeah.
And it's just a great feeling.
See, I think that was a beautiful part to end it with.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think the one thing we've already mentioned it, but I would like to emphasize is, again, go to the root. And I could say this 1 year that I spent working with my repression coach.
Yeah.
That was the most important year. It was without question the hardest year of my life.
Yeah.
And it was the most rewarding year of my life. So if you can find any kind of professional, someone you feel comfortable with, put your ego in the back seat and do this for yourself. It's going to make all the difference in the world. And the young lady that I worked with, I wouldn't even know how to thank her if I had to. But it was just so rewarding. And I see how different a person I am.
Yeah.
And just how real I am now. And, during my period as an addict, how many lies I told, and to myself. And now I make a conscious effort, not just not to lie, but to be transparent with people.
Yeah.
And what a difference. And now if
authenticity is so important, because when you come from being a people pleaser, you try to say things that they would want to hear, but sometimes it might not necessarily be the thing people need to hear.
Yes.
And my intention with being authentic is to destigmatize what it means to be an addict, because oftentimes addiction does stem from previous mental health issues where you have there's so much evidence related to how treating a person holistically can affect their outcomes as an addict. And using that term, it really becomes an issue. Like when you label somebody as an alcoholic, you're not looking at them as a whole. You're looking at them for the behavior, but the root cause of the behavior, what would drive somebody to drink alcohol? What would drive somebody to want to forget certain experiences or crave the feeling that being drunk has? So when you treat that underlying part or see the person as a whole, that's when you can start to make meaningful changes to behavior that would lead to an addiction, because your body does and can become physiologically dependent on alcohol.
Absolutely.
As someone that has taken care of a lot of patients who have been withdrawing from alcohol in a medical setting, it takes a while for your body to come out of it. Your body gets used to the amount of ethanol in your system, and that's where issues with withdrawal happen when you suddenly stop, that it drives your family members or loved ones to bring you as a patient to the hospital because of changes like your mental status.
Yes.
And thankfully, you're in a place where your body is not significantly impacted by the effects of alcohol, where you're having severe liver issues. But it's just really important to show that taking care of your body from any age can help. And it's not about your quantity of life anymore. It's about the quality of life that you have.
Absolutely. I'm pretty confident I'm not going to live another 62 years. Okay. But I know that whatever years ahead of me, whatever I have, I mean, we're all going to die, but none of us have an expiration date stamped on us. We don't know when that time is. What I know is the time I have left is going to be better. Even if it's a week, it's going to be better than
I love
first
that.
6 years of my life.
And then you get to spend more time with your family, your loved ones.
Yes. And more just even being alone. Now I love myself. And it makes a huge difference. If there's like 2 points I can harp on, is first thing, not just the physical, I just don't feel, I not only feel better physically, I no longer have cirrhosis, but how my body reacts.
Yeah.
Your body tells the truth. Your body really is an extension of the mind, and your body holds repression and whatnot. And when that pressure is removed, it is amazing how the body reacts. The body tells me things that I was never listening to for 60 years. Like in the past when I would swallow aggression or repression, I just let it go. Now if I try to do that, my body's like, no way, deal with it. That was huge.
That's because you have a better relationship with yourself now.
Yes, absolutely.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Even those cars are thanking you. I appreciate learning more about your journey and the lessons that you have learned over time, and would love to see all the things that you do. Can you tell us where we can find your memoir?
Well, I haven't got it published. I wrote it more just for myself. Okay.
And are you on any social media platforms, or where can we find you?
Right now, the best way, just by texting. I do. People do reach out to me for help, and I'm more than willing to help them. However, there is one very important stipulation. I can't heal anyone.
Yeah.
And no one healed me. Okay. If you're serious about overcoming addiction, you have to do the heavy lifting.
Exactly.
There are plenty of people that can guide you. Okay. I had my repression coach who guided me every step of the way. But at the end of the day, I was doing the heavy lifting. I was shedding the tears. I was banging my fist on the table because I didn't understand something. She guided me. I did the heavy lifting. And if you come to me and or if you come to any counselor or anyone for help, and you think they're going to say some magic word and everything's going to disappear, you're in the wrong league, because it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's got to come from within. It's got to come from yourself.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.